Oh no, hellos and welcome back to another videos, and today we'll be doing finally a top 10, but it's not a top 10 actually, it's a top 5 because I couldn't find any good dang cards in this freaking set, so I had to settle for 5 and then I did. And yeah, these are like the top 5 prophecy cards. This is the prophecy, man, but the prophecy didn't come true in this list. I mean, I only found 5 cards that were kind of good. I mean, oh well. I mean, this is all I got to work with, so let's just make it okay. Let's just let's just set the bar at okay, I guess. So most of the cards I will be talking about in this list are from Commander, but there'll be some from the past and some that are even still seeing play. But yeah, I mean most of it's just gonna be Commander stuff. So if you don't like Commander stuff, oh freaking well, Commander's like the best format. So like get used to it. Standard's dead, Modern's dead. Everyone's just gonna go to Commander. So let's go to this list instead. So finally we have number 5. No surprise that it's actually a big surprise for everyone. It's Citadel of Pain, which is a weird font, but I'll take it for what it says. It says Citadel of Pain. So it's a 2 red enchantment for at the end of each player's turn, Citadel of Pain deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of untapped lands he or she controls. So basically, you're taxing your opponent for leaving out mana that they could use for a counterspell or in response to. And you could punish your opponent by basically saying, okay, you have to leave all your lands tapped, let me do my thing, kind of card. And this card sees play in commander decks, especially in commander decks like with a lot of interaction, or with stacks pieces like, I don't know, Zozu to Punisher. Can't really think of a lot of good examples, but this does see play in EDH decks. But it's a pretty spicy card. I mean, you could just punish. It's like Price of Glory, except a little bit more tame, but still punishing. I mean, I wouldn't want to leave up a lot of lands up if this card was out. I would actually leave them tapped. Because why bother? I mean, sometimes leaving up mana for a counterspell can be nice, but is it really worth it sometimes for amount of damage you're going to be taking? Maybe not. So, uh, I digress, and I rest my case that this card is kind of bonkers and deserves the number 5 spot on this list. But you know what good old frog deserves? Number 4, Spore Frog. Okay, that was like kind of the worst transitioning in the number 4 I've ever did, but bear with me. This is a Gouda card. This is a Gouda card. No, you don't get it. It looks like Gouda cheese. Like the frog looks like it dipped itself in like cheese or something. Like mozzarella. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, this mozzarella frog is a 1 green for a frog. Yep, this frog. And you can sacrifice it to prevent all combat damage. Prevent prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. So you might be thinking to yourself, how the hell does this frog prevent combat damage? But no, you're really thinking, okay, what is so great about this little tiny frog? It can only do it once per turn. Well, in EDH decks, it actually sees play in Muldrotha decks. And what Muldrotha decks will do is they'll use the Spore Frog as basically a way to prevent all combat damage from being dealt to you. Now, this could be really messed up if it's a 1v1, but usually people just don't want to attack you because they know the Spore Frog's out and they'll just, not even attack you because you'll just prevent all the combat damage and all that was for nothing. So, but yeah, that's where Spore Frog basically sees play. It sees play in Muldrotha decks in Commander. Very OP, but I don't see why a frog can do this. Like, I seriously can't grasp I can't grasp the magic behind this frog. It prevents all combat damage. I guess this frog has some magical ability to prevent all combat damage. It must be more powerful than some planeswalkers. God damn, man. Okay, let's just move on to number 3, which is Avatar of Woe. Now, don't be surprised that this actually made the list, because I actually wanted this on the list for history reasons. But yes, Avatar of Woe is a 6 black black, but it could just be 2 black because if there are 10 or more creature cards in all graveyards, Avatar of Woe costs 6 less. So it can usually cost 2 black. It has fear, but the real spicy thing about this card is destroy a target creature, and it can't be regenerated. So yeah, this is better pretty much than Royal Assassin because this can destroy any creature at any time. So, why is it on this list? Well, back in the old days of Magic, when this was in the Prophecy block, this card was basically really powerful because there was a lot of graveyard shenanigans, and this could be used against some graveyard strategies. And especially if there was a reanimator decks at the time, Avatar Woe can be a really good sideboard against those problematic decks. Now, this also did see main play in some decks just wanting to use Avatar of Woe, and they actually made decks around Avatar of Woe. Now, there were other avatars and stuff that were kind of powerful, but I decided to put this one on the list because of that ability, honestly. Do not underestimate that ability. It is actually really good to have an ability to just destroy a target creature at any time. It just makes it ever so broken to have that on a creature, because he could just destroy any creature at any time. So yeah, I mean, this chick not playing around. She'll kill you. She kind of reminds me of Phage, not gonna lie, but that's for another top 10. But let's move on to number 2, and these are where you're pretty much gonna know what these cards do. So yeah, everyone knows number 2, Ristic Study. And wow, this is on number 2. I wonder what's number 1, but you'll see. So it's a 2 blue enchantment for whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1. Iconic card, and you know why. It's like your people will be asking, do you want to pay the 1? Do you want to pay the 1? It's that whole pay the 1 thing card. This is the pay 1 card, boy, right here. And it came from Prophecy. Fun fact. So yeah, I mean, this card is basically a staple in EDH decks for the longest time, man. I think it's even the most expensive common ever printed, and for good reason, because of that effect to just draw one card when an opponent casts a spell. It's just crazy. And usually players will pay the 1, and don't get that twisted. It is actually a powerful effect that it actually taxes your opponents. Granted, maybe not in a, taxing way, but in a political way to say, hey, you should pay that extra 1. Do you really want me to draw another card? I don't think so. So yeah, Ristic Study is just one of those cards that are just really powerful, and this card see tons of play in EDH decks. And deserves number 2 on this list. Just very powerful card. And look at this boy. I mean, this boy is just ready for some action. And of course, number 1. I think number 1's kind of gonna surprise people, but maybe not. And number 1 is foil. So curses foiled again, basically, because it's 2 blue, but you don't even need to pay attention to that because you may discard an island card and another card rather than pay this spell's mana cost. That's what people would usually do, and you just counter a spell. And this is actually powerful, and it actually had to get banned in Pauper because it was used in conjunction with Gush to do a Gush foil combo where you could disrupt your opponent while basically countering a spell and drawing 2 cards while you counter their spell. And that's why both Gush and foil had to get banned. I mean, it's just too powerful for both of them to be in. So, yeah. So foil is just one of those cards, kind of like Force of Will, where, yeah, free counter spells are kind of broken, not gonna lie. Daze, you got Force of Will, Force of Negation, Pact of the... Like, come on. They just gotta stop printing free counter spells at this point. But yeah. And yeah, that was Prophecy. Basically, it was just a EDH set, I guess. That's what I would call it. But there were, you know, some cards that were cool, some cards that were unique, and some cards that I just didn't understand. Like, why the hell does Frog persist powers to stop combat? I don't know. It's magic. So anyways, that's going to do it for the list. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day or night, and I'll see you guys in the next video or streams. Bye, and peace.